Sometimes silence is not absence, but preparation for something great. What you are feeling right now is not a coincidence. It is a date that was already written. Your day has taken an unexpected turn right now, because there's a clarity you need to receive without external noise. You are not here by mistake. You are here because your perseverance has been seen. Stay with me for a moment, because what follows will clear up that doubt that's been bothering you. It's curious how life works. Perhaps just a moment ago you were immersed in your routine, your mind divided between what you did yesterday and what you still have to do today. But suddenly, something made you stop moving your hands. That small pause, that impulse to listen isn't random. It's what we call a direct connection with the divine. Imagine for a moment that a clear instruction has been given concerning you in the heavenly realms. It is not a warning nor a reprimand. It is something far more beautiful. It is a recognition of your patience. The Father has observed how you have walked through times of uncertainty, how you have maintained your faith when answers seemed slow in coming. And today He has decided that your name should be the focus of special attention. It's not about waiting any longer. It's about your turn to receive peace and clarity, now being at the top of the list. If you felt you needed to pay attention to this, it's because your spirit recognized the frequency of truth. God has been working silently, preparing 3 profound transformations for you, not promises for some distant future, but tools for your immediate reality. The first of these transformations will renew your energy upon waking. The second will influence how the world perceives your inner light. And the third is the reason why today, despite any distractions, you've managed to get here. You've risen above the noise of your surroundings to position yourself in the right place. I invite you to, for a moment, silence the notifications in your mind. You don't need to force this to happen. You simply need to be present. We are in a moment of genuine encounter, where waiting becomes arrival. Imagine the Creator with the satisfaction of one who prepared the finest details for his child and simply says, "I am glad you are here." Before delving into these 3 transformations, I want to ask you to take a simple yet meaningful step. If you feel in your heart that this message has arrived at the perfect time, please subscribe to this channel. By doing so, you not only join a community, but you also confirm to your own spirit that you are in tune with the good things to come. Please also click the like button as a sign that you are ready to receive this peace into your life. And now, the most important thing to seal this beginning, go to the comments and write the word "done." By writing it, you are creating a starting point, a before and after in your day. Think about it. You could be anywhere else, in the kitchen, stuck in traffic, or relaxing before starting your work. Your to-do list is still there, but your inner voice told you to stop. It's not that you lack time. It's that you've entered the perfect time. The delays you experienced today, that missed call, or that plan that was rescheduled, weren't obstacles. They were pieces of a larger plan, so you could have the space of calm, uninterrupted, just you and this message of hope. What you're about to receive isn't just superficial information. It's a seed planted deep within you, bearing fruit of peace and purpose. So, in this very moment, make the conscious decision to be fully present. Right now, make a pact with yourself. Say to yourself, any other worries can wait, my distractions can wait, because what I'm receiving now is my priority. It's vital that you understand that what follows isn't just a pep talk. It's a roadmap for your spirit. If you decide to join me to the end of this journey, I assure you that your perspective will have completely changed. I won't use empty words or superficial promises. I will speak to you with complete honesty about what heaven has prepared for you. You will learn the nature of those 3 spiritual gifts that were destined for your life in the last few hours. They are not abstract concepts, but clear tools that you will learn to easily integrate into your daily life. Together we'll discover why your name resonates so powerfully today and what that means for the weeks ahead. I'll show you how to identify the distractions that will try to pull you off this path of peace and how to stay firmly focused. I'll share with you a real-life story of someone who, just a few months ago, was in your same position, and how a timely shift in mindset completely transformed their reality. In the end, we will perform a shared act of faith. It won't just be a reflection, but a true inner renewal. When this video ends, you won't be the same person who pressed play. This isn't just a figure of speech. It's the consequence of aligning yourself with the truth. You are facing the message your soul has been unknowingly seeking. Now, let's reflect on this. Why today? Why you? Why at this exact moment in your morning or afternoon? What is it about today that made the heavens say, "It's now"? To understand this, we must look to ancient wisdom. There is a promise that says, "When the time is right, I will make everything happen." But the right time doesn't mean when chance decides. There's a profound word for this: mode. Mode is not just any time. It is a divine appointment. It is an encounter marked on the calendar of eternity long before you were born. God didn't make a hasty decision this morning. He already had this meeting scheduled. He set a reminder in your spirit, and when the time came, he moved circumstances so that you would stop and listen. He called you before the world stole your attention, before the worries of the day raised a veil of smoke before your eyes. Your presence here is not a coincidence. It is the fulfillment of that appointment. God never misses his meetings, but the key is that you attend as well. Among millions of people watching meaningless content, you stopped. You connected. You decided to stay. And it's not by luck. It's because your inner self recognizes mode. It recognized that this is your moment. When you keep an appointment of the divine, things that were stagnant in your life begin to flow. Doors that seemed sealed shut by discouragement begin to show a sliver of light. And it's not because you bought it or because you're perfect, but because you kept your appointment. Let me tell you something about your current process. On the spiritual path, we usually go through 3 stages. The first is waiting, where we know something is coming, but we are still being prepared. The second is the desert, where trials and losses have stripped us of what is unnecessary. It is the long night before the dawn. But there's a third stage, and that is where you are today, the stage of fulfillment. You are among those who have completed their preparation. You have passed the trials by fire, and while others gave up halfway, you persevered. Therefore, the heavenly decision for you today is no more delays. The season of procrastination is over. Today, you are at the forefront of your own story. Go to the comments and write, "I accept my moment." Your interaction helps this message of hope reach more hearts that need it. How can you be sure you belong to this third category of people prepared for change? If in the last 72 hours you felt an inexplicable inner stirring, a quiet certainty that something on your horizon is about to transform, then your spirit is already warning you. Perhaps you woke up yesterday with a sense of anticipation you couldn't quite put into words. Maybe you felt restless during the night, but not with the kind of anxiety that robs you of peace, rather with a vibrant expectation. That's no coincidence. It's your inner self picking up on the signal of what the heavens have been arranging for you. You're no longer waiting in the hallway. You've entered the hall of new opportunities. Let's talk about what happened last night while you were trying to rest. Because I know that for many of you, sleep eluded you, right? Maybe you tossed and turned, looked at the clock at 2:30, 3:15, or 4:07 in the morning. You opened your eyes and your mind was still active, processing, searching. You felt exhausted, but your spirit didn't give up. Let me tell you something that will bring you great peace. Nothing bad is happening to you. It wasn't just insomnia. While you stare at the ceiling in the darkness, your process was being celebrated in the celestial realm. The angels were preparing 3 specific tools for your life. Your soul vibrated because it felt the intense work being done on your behalf. It was spiritual anticipation, not physical exhaustion. There's an ancient teaching that says when God builds something significant in our lives, he keeps us alert, not to exhaust us, but so we'll be present when the work is finished. He wants you to be awake when he hands you the keys to your new season. Last night, the divine workshop was in full swing, assembling, preparing, and sealing those 3 tools with your name. Your spirit was like a child before a big celebration. Your heart racing because you know that at dawn something amazing will be waiting for you. Those 3 tools, forged in the silence of night, are not abstract concepts or blessings to be admired from afar. They are keys. And keys were not made to be kept in a box. They were made to open real doors, to start engines that have been dormant, and to unlock paths that have been closed for years. The first of these keys is so powerful that, when you activate it within the next 24 hours, it will unlock a path that has been blocked to you for a long time. I'm not talking about something metaphorical. I'm talking about a tangible opportunity that will manifest in your reality very soon. It could be an unexpected conversation, news that changes your perspective, or a door that finally swings wide open. God doesn't prepare tools to be kept hidden away. He gives them to you to use today. But before I reveal that first tool to you, it's crucial that you understand the order of things. God wanted you to hear this before you checked any other news, before you immerse yourself in the noise of the world or social media. If you had started your day with the chaos outside, your focus would have been divided. These tools require a clear mind and an open spirit. That's why you came here in the first place, to receive the full shock before the environment tries to distract you. You are here. You have kept your appointment. Your mind is clearing, and your heart is inclining toward the truth. The first gift is ready to be revealed. But first, we must understand what it truly means to be at the front of the line. It is not merely about receiving a personal benefit. It is about a strategic position. You are being placed in a position of influence and purpose. And when you understand this position, everything you have experienced up to this point will make sense. Stay focused, because the real celebration of your new stage is just beginning. And what comes next is the missing piece to complete the puzzle of your life. Being at the front of the line isn't an invitation to sit back and relax. On the contrary, it's a call to immediate action. It means you have the first opportunity to get ahead. You have access to the entrances before they open for anyone else. And this brings us to the first tool that heaven prepared for you last night. It's called Priority Passage Authorization. When you understand what this means, you'll understand why distractions have been so strong for you today. This authorization isn't a metaphor. It's a spiritual faculty. It's like having special permission to move forward, while others are still waiting at the main entrance. It's that direct connection that allows you to bypass the normal waiting periods, common limitations, and protocols that usually hold others back. When you activate this authorization within the next 24 hours, something amazing happens. Situations that have been stagnant for months suddenly begin to move. It's not because you're pushing harder or because you finally made a superhuman effort, but because the universe has validated your progress. Conversations that had cooled off will resurface. People who seem to have forgotten you will reach out to you out of the blue. You'll ask yourself, what changed? And the answer will be that you activated your priority status. This is deeply rooted in eternal wisdom. There's a promise that says, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. This idea of the open door is constantly repeated when someone is positioned by the divine. We saw it when paths opened in the desert, or when impenetrable walls fell before a sound of faith. When God opens a door, it is not a suggestion, it is a mission. And the people who cross those doors are those who have accepted his access code. The formula is clear. Divine opportunity equals perfect timing plus positioning plus spiritual access. These three elements have aligned for you today. That's why you're hearing this. Heaven has given you the key, and the door is moving right now, even though your physical eyes can't yet see the full movement. The hinges have already given way. How do you activate this authorization? It's simple, but it requires the following steps. Acknowledgement. You're already doing it. By listening to this message and feeling this vibration within you, you are acknowledging that this gift is yours. Declaration. In the next 24 hours, find a moment of solitude and say firmly, I accept my priority access. What was closed today opens in the name of the light. You must say it, because your voice has the power to change the atmosphere. Action. Take action. Act on the first opportunity that presents itself in the coming days, no matter how small it may seem. That first door is a test to see if you are ready to use the access that has been entrusted to you. If you follow these steps, in a week you will look back and realize that everything started to transform after this moment. But remember, I told you about 3 tools. The second one will change not only your circumstances, but your internal frequency. It will change the energy you project into the world. And when your frequency changes, everything around you responds differently. This second tool is called the frequency of abundance. Listen carefully. Most people believe that joy is a result of something good happening. They think, when I get that answer, I'll be happy. When my situation changes, I'll have peace. But that's the great deception that keeps us trapped. Abundance isn't the destination. It's the driving force. It's not the result of a blessing. Abundance is a blessing itself and must come first. If you believe that the door that were closed to you are finally opening, I want you to seal it right now. Go to the comments and write with faith, "I walked through my open door today." Don't forget that your interaction strengthens this message of hope. If you ignore this, you could miss the essence of everything we are building today. Wholeness isn't something you feel after the change happens. Wholeness is what attracts change to you. It's the spiritual magnet of your existence. What you've been waiting for is actually waiting for your spirit to reach the right frequency. And before you think I'm just talking about smiling out of obligation, let me explain the depth of this. Happiness is a fleeting emotion that depends on what's happening around you, but spiritual fulfillment is a state of mind. It's a vibration you emit when you're aligned with the divine. When you activate this frequency, even if there's a storm raging outside or nothing seems to have changed, you create a protective field that begins to attract new opportunities to you. There's an ancient wisdom that tells us the joy that comes from the divine is your strength. At its deepest root, this word doesn't simply mean feeling good. It means a fortified structure. That is to say, your inner peace is armor, a wall that discouragement cannot scale. When you choose to dwell in that peace, you're not just trying to feel better. You are building a fortress around your life that shadows cannot penetrate. You are creating a shield where fear and doubt simply bounce off. Even your physical body recognizes when this frequency is activated. Observe these 3 signs. Your face relaxes. Without realizing it, you've been carrying tension in your features for months. By activating your inner peace, that tension disappears. Your shoulders rest. It's like taking off a backpack full of stones that you weren't supposed to carry. Your expression changes. A natural, unforced gesture of tranquility arises because there's an inner calm that simply overflows. When this happens, it's not just a physical response. It's an indication that your spirit has taken control. At that moment, any negative influence loses its power over you, because a chosen one who lives in peace is someone whom chaos cannot manipulate. How do you activate this sequence in your life? Follow these 3 phases. Phase 1, permission. You have to give yourself permission to be well before you see external results. Your mind will try to fight it and tell you, how can I be at peace if I still have problems to solve? You have to respond to your mind. I don't wait for my problems to be solved to be well. My well-being is what will give me the clarity to solve them. Phase 2, the practice. Throughout your day, look for 5 micro moments of gratitude. The taste of a hot drink, a green light on the road, a song that brings back good memories, or a kind message. When they occur, pause for 3 seconds and say internally, "Thank you." You are training your spirit to recognize the light in small things. Phase 3, positioning. Stop waiting for happiness to find you. Walk, speak, and decide from a place of hope. Enter every place as if you've just received the best news. Act with the confidence of someone who knows the best is already on its way. If you maintain this focus, that peace will become permanent. It will become who you are, not just how you feel. The priority access we mentioned earlier opens the door, but this frequency of wholeness is what keeps that door open. Without peace, the door may close again at the first sign of doubt, but with it, the path is clear forever. If you're determined not to let anything steal your peace and to use your joy as a shield of strength, I want you to affirm it now. Go to the comments and write, "My peace is my strength." By doing so, you're sealing your commitment to your spiritual well-being. When the door opens wide, the divine design is for it to stay that way. We've already discussed the first 2 tools, priority passage authorization and the frequency of abundance. If you only had these 2, you would already be more than ready for your great transformation. But what the heavens prepared last night didn't stop there. There's a 3rd tool. And this, my dear friend, is the reason why the noise of the world tried to distract you from this message today. This 3rd tool is the one the dark environment fears most. The previous 2 give you access and stability, but this one transforms you into a transformative influence. You are not just someone who believes. You become someone who shapes their reality. We call this tool the grace of first results. In the oldest traditions, the first fruits were not simply an offering. They were a declaration of absolute trust. It meant giving the best and the first to God, with the certainty that the rest of provision would follow. This grace doesn't leave you at the back of the line waiting for scraps. It positions you to receive the best of every opportunity. But be careful, I'm not just referring to material things. I'm talking about a spiritual priority in everything. Being the first to be considered for a new project, the first to receive clarity when faced with a difficult problem, and the first to see solutions where others only see obstacles. This is where many get confused. The grace of first results isn't about receiving immediate external benefits. It's about receiving unwavering faith first. Faith is the true currency of the Spirit. Money can be lost or mismanaged, but strengthened faith is a permanent asset that no one can take from you. With this grace, you don't just hope things will get better. You have the certainty that it's already happening. You don't timidly ask for miracles. You command them into your reality with the authority you've been given. The enemy can deal with someone who has hope, but he cannot stop someone who has the faith of the first ones. The faith that says, I don't need to see it to believe it. I believe it, and therefore I will see it manifested. However, I must pause for a moment. Before showing you how to activate this grace, we need to talk about something profound and, at times, uncomfortable, that part of you that, incredibly, is afraid to receive these gifts. I know it sounds strange. You've desperately sought this change, but there's a quiet whisper inside you saying, if I truly enter this new level of peace and purpose, I'll have to let go of who I've been. And not everyone is ready to say goodbye to their old identity. You've built your entire life around struggle, around being the one who always has to work twice as hard to achieve half as much. As painful as that version of yourself is, it feels familiar. You know how to survive it. But if you activate these three tools, that version of you will cease to exist. You will become someone who walks with confidence, who doesn't beg for attention, and who dwells in spiritual abundance. Notice what you feel in your body as I say this. Perhaps a slight pressure in your chest or a lump in your throat. This isn't negative resistance. It's your soul's recognition. Your inner self knows I'm speaking the truth. The greatest obstacle isn't outside, but rather the fear of the unknown. Even if the unknown is something wonderful, there's a question you might not dare to ask out loud. What if I get everything I asked for and still don't feel complete? What if the problem wasn't what I was missing, but who I am? Today we're going to bring that fear into the light, because when something is illuminated, it loses its power to hold you back. If you're ready to let go of your old identity of struggle and scarcity and embrace the new version of yourself that walks in victory, I want you to boldly declare it. Go to the comments and write, I release the old, I receive the new. Sharing this thought frees you from a weight of the past. What if the problem isn't the circumstances? What if the problem is me? That thought crossing your mind isn't just doubt. It's a form of wisdom. You're right to feel that respect, that slight nervousness. Receiving these three tools will transform you. The version of you watching this video right now, the version who barely scraped by and learned to sell for scraps, will cease to exist in the next 40 days. It's okay to feel the weight of what you're leaving behind. It's a necessary grieving process. But listen to what heaven says about that fear. I don't bless you for who you have been, but for who I am. When you receive what I give you, you won't have to strive to become someone new. You'll simply wake up one day and realize that you are already a different person. You don't have to perform to achieve this or prove you're perfect. The fact that you feel this fear is proof that you're ready. Those who aren't prepared never question their ability. They simply assume everything belongs to them. Your humility and awareness of the responsibility this entails are precisely what qualifies you to carry this new anointing. Let's return to the grace of first results. I told you this isn't about money, but about your faith. There's a powerful teaching that invites us to honor the divine with the best of our lives. Many think this is a financial transaction, but it's something much deeper. It's about trust. Trust comes first, then comes giving our best, and finally, abundance arrives. Giving isn't a payment. It's a declaration. It's saying, I trust that provision is already on its way, even when the field seems empty. When you make that declaration before seeing physical results, you activate a principle that most people ignore. You activate the faith of the first. This faith changes the way you make decisions. You no longer ask yourself, can I handle this? But rather, is this what my purpose is asking me to do? Instead of waiting to feel completely certain, you move when the Spirit prompts you. You don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You know that as you place your foot in the void, the next rung will be illuminated. That is the faith that moves mountains. That is the faith that says, I don't need a plan B, because my connection to the heavens is plan A. When you walk with this level of certainty, you become unstoppable. The world may try to block your opportunities, but no one can touch your faith. Faith is the only territory where darkness has no jurisdiction. Moreover, there is an even greater secret. You don't just receive fruit, you are the first fruits. You are the first and the best that God presents to the world as a demonstration of his power. When you understand this identity, you stop begging for peace and begin to inhabit it. You stop waiting for someone to choose you and begin to live knowing that you have already been chosen for something great. But I must be honest with you and warn you about what comes next. The exact moment you accept these three tools, a signal is activated on the spiritual plane. It's not a warning signal, but a panic signal for everything that opposes your growth. A person who has priority access, who lives life to the fullest, and who walks with the faith of the first, is capable of transforming entire systems and breaking down generational barriers. That's why I want to prepare you for what your environment will try to do in the next 48 hours. I'm going to reveal 7 distraction strategies that might appear, and most importantly, I'll give you the exact counter strategy for each one. I won't leave you alone in this process. We're going to ensure your breakthrough is decisive. If you accept your identity as someone set apart for great things and are ready to protect your faith above all else, I want you to seal in community. Go to the comments and write, I am a gift of the divine. By doing so, you strengthen your resolve and encourage others on their journey. It's crucial that you're prepared so that when these challenges come knocking, they don't catch you off guard. You're ready. The first strategy your environment will use against you is what I call the distraction barrier. This usually happens within the first 24 hours after you receive this clarity. Suddenly, everything will seem to demand your immediate attention. Perhaps a problem with your car, a message with an urgent family drama, or an unexpected demand at work that can't wait. Each of these things will feel like a real emergency. But what's happening is that there's an attempt to divert your attention from the 3 tools you just received before they can take root in your mind. The goal is to disperse your mental energy so that the activation doesn't solidify. You'll recognize this attack because several urgent things will hit you at once. It's not bad luck. It's strategic interference. Your counter strategy is this. Even when you're alone, firmly say, this can wait. My process of change cannot. Deal with the urgent only after you've secured your peace. Take 10 minutes to meditate, 5 to give thanks, and prioritize the spiritual over the chaos. When you refuse to let the urgent steal what's important, the distraction loses its power, and often the problems resolve themselves or turn out to be less serious than they seemed. The second strategy is the fatigue assault. This usually occurs 24 to 48 hours later. You'll feel profound exhaustion that sleep won't relieve. You might sleep for 8 hours and wake up feeling like you only slept 2. Or worse, you'll be exhausted, but your mind won't shut off. This happens because integrating these new tools into your life requires inner energy. It's like a seed that needs the strength of the soil to break its shell and begin to grow. The environment tries to drain your energy through worry or excessive dwelling on the past. Your counter strategy is recognition. Say aloud, I recognize that this depletion is unnatural. I command that my energy be restored and multiplied right now. Understand that you are not tired from weakness, but because your transformation is perceived as dangerous due to stagnation. This simple act of awareness will break the weight of exhaustion, and you will feel immediate renewal. The third strategy is relationship friction, which usually appears between the 3rd and 7th day. You'll have a sudden argument with someone you normally get along well with. It could be a misunderstanding with your partner, a disagreement with a friend, or a tense atmosphere at home for no apparent reason. The conflict will feel disproportionate to what actually happened. Why does this happen? Because isolation weakens. If they manage to make you feel alone or drive away those who support you, you'll start to doubt yourself and whether this change is really for you. Doubt is the antidote to faith, and that's what your environment is trying to instill. Your counter strategy is not to take the bait. Don't engage in the argument. Don't defend yourself aggressively. Recognize it as interference. Tell yourself, This isn't against them. It's a distraction from my path. Respond gracefully. Diffuse the situation. Say, let's talk about this when we're calm. You'll be surprised to see how, in less than 24 hours, the tension completely disappears if you don't give it any more power. Call to action. If you're determined to protect your peace and no longer allow any distractions or conflict to stop you, I want you to affirm it strongly. Go to the comments and write, "No one takes away my focus." By commenting, you're building a wall of protection around your progress. When you refuse to fuel conflict, negativity loses its power, and those around you eventually regain their composure, sometimes without even knowing why they acted that way. But be warned, this isn't hypothetical. In the next 2 weeks, you're almost certain to experience at least 3 of these situations. The question is, will you recognize them for what they are, or will you dismiss them as just bad luck or stress? If you don't identify them, you won't be able to apply the counter strategy, and the tools you receive will remain stored away, unused. That's why I want us to do something right now in the comments. Write the words, "I see you." By doing this, you're not talking to me. You're talking to any obstacle trying to stop you. You're saying, "I see your strategies. I understand what you're trying to do, and you have no power over my process." Naming the challenge is the first step to dismantling it. Let's continue with the remaining forms of resistance. Because time is of the essence. You have a window of opportunity open right now, and we must seize it. The 4th form of resistance is the identity attack. It usually occurs between day 5 and day 10. Suddenly, while going about your normal activities, a memory from the past will hit you hard. A mistake you made, an embarrassing situation, or a failure you thought you had overcome. It won't be a mild thought. It will come with an intensity that will make you feel the same heaviness as back then. What's the goal? To make you feel unworthy of new opportunities. Those around you will try to convince you that, because of what you did in the past, you don't deserve today's peace. Your counter strategy is firm. My past has no say in my future. That version of me no longer exists. What has been forgiven is in the past. And do something radical. Be grateful for that memory. Not because the mistake was good, but because the fact that it bothers you today is proof of how much you've grown. If you hadn't changed, that memory wouldn't hurt. The pain is evidence of your transformation. The 5th form is a deceptive opportunity. This is the most subtle because it seems like an answer to what you asked for. It occurs between the 10th and 21st. Something will be presented that appears to be 80% of what you seek, but it requires you to sacrifice your integrity or values for something small. The whisper will say, "Take it. It's close enough. You might not get another chance." Be careful. If you settle for what glitters but isn't gold, you lose the space for what is authentic. Counterfeit goods seek to lull you into complacency and make you stop believing in true fulfillment. Your counter strategy is to ask yourself, is this costing me my inner peace? True opportunity may require effort or courage, but it will never ask you to sacrifice your peace. If you feel that unease in your spirit, walk away. When you reject what isn't meant for you, what truly belongs to you will appear within days. The 6th form is a late doubt injection, between days 21 and 35. By this point, you will have seen small advances, but the full manifestation has not yet arrived. Doubt will creep in like a silent fog, making you question whether everything you felt was real or just an illusion. We're reaching a critical point in your transformation. If you're determined not to settle for imitations and to protect your renewed identity, I want you to seal it now. Go to the comments and write, "I choose authenticity." Your public commitment strengthens your inner resolve. Doubt will try to make you feel naive. It will whisper in your ear, "Did you really believe a message could change your reality? Maybe it was just the excitement of the moment." This is the attack that makes many give up just before seeing the full manifestation. They begin to feel ashamed for having gotten their hopes up. They withdraw, and they stop using the activation tools. They convince their minds that it was all an illusion to protect themselves from possible disappointment. Your response to this shouldn't be to argue with doubt. That's a losing battle because doubt feeds on your reasoning. Instead, return to the evidence. Watch this video again. Recall that feeling of certainty you had at the beginning, and notice the small changes that have already taken place within you. Document every moment of peace you felt, and then Declare it firmly. I don't live by what I feel in a moment of weakness. I live by the truth I received. This is my season, and I choose to believe above my fluctuating emotions. Always remember, doubt is a fleeting feeling, but faith is a conscious decision. Finally, we come to the seventh form of resistance, the most deceptive of all, premature victory. It occurs around day 40. Suddenly, something goes right. A door opens, you receive good news, or unexpected relief arrives. You feel you finally made it, and you relax spiritually. You stop being on high alert. You stop giving thanks with the same intensity, and you start celebrating the appetizer as if it were the main course. The enemy loves this attack because he doesn't need to force you to give up. He just needs you to stop prematurely. He wants to convince you that this first breakthrough is all you're going to get. But listen carefully. What heaven has in store for you isn't a single blessing. It's a continuous flow, like a river that never stops running. If you settle for the first sign and stray from the source, you'll miss out on the fullness of what's to come. Your counter strategy when that first success arrives is not to say I'm finished, but rather, this is just the beginning. Instead of relaxing, intensify your gratitude, double your focus, keep your posture upright, and say to your spirit, I'm not stopping at the shore. I'm going deep into the harvest. You must remain in the state of activation until every promise has fully manifested in your life. Not just a part, but the entire original design. Now that you know the 7 ways to protect your process, let's get down to business. I'm going to give you the 3-day activation protocol. This is the method to ensure that the 3 tools you received, priority access, wholeness, and the faith of the first, are sealed within you before external challenges try to break them down. Time is a key factor, and these next 3 days will define your new reality. If you're determined not to stop until you see total fulfillment in your life, and you refuse to settle for half measures, I want you to seal that commitment now. Go to the comments and write, I'm going for total fulfillment. Your perseverance is what guarantees your victory. For these changes to manifest, we need to be specific. Clarity of intention is what allows spiritual energy to focus correctly. Let's detail your 3-day renewal protocol. Day 1 is dedicated to activating your priority passage authorization. Here's what you'll do. First thing in the morning, before turning on any screens or speaking to anyone, stay put for a moment. If you're in bed, sit on the edge, place your feet firmly on the floor, and face east. It doesn't matter if you don't see the sun. East symbolically represents new beginnings and the light that dispels darkness. At that moment, declare in a firm voice, Today I receive my permission to pass. The doors that were blocked to my progress are now commanded to open in harmony with my purpose. Don't whisper it. Let your voice resonate in the air. Throughout that day, remain in a state of keen observation. In the next 12 hours, you will notice a small opening, an unexpected message, a brilliant idea that comes out of nowhere, or an everyday situation that resolves itself with astonishing ease. When that happens, document it. Write it on your phone or in a notebook. Authorization activated on this date. This is what opened. By recording it, you are building a testament to your own transformation. Before going to sleep, perform a symbolic act. Walk through a door in your home. Stop right on the threshold with 1 foot on each side and say, As I cross this physical threshold, I cross my spiritual thresholds. I leave behind what no longer serves me and enter my new season. Step fully inside and close the door gently but firmly. Day 2 is for activating your frequency of fullness. Upon waking, before getting out of bed, do a simple exercise. Smile. Hold that smile for 10 seconds, even if it feels forced at first. Science explains that the body responds to physiology. By curving your mouth, you send a signal to your nervous system to release substances that promote well-being before any external event occurs. You are taking control of your own frequency. For the rest of the day, your mission is to find 5 micro moments of fulfillment. It could be the relief of the water in the shower, finding a good parking spot, a kind gesture from a stranger, or some positive news. Don't let them go unnoticed. When they happen, express your gratitude aloud, even if it's in a low voice, and say, to seal this 2nd day of practice and raise your vibrational frequency, I want you to share a small victory. Go to the comments and write, Thank you for my peace today. Recognizing the good, however small, is what attracts great transformations. Simply say, "Thank you," just that word. With this exercise, you are training your spirit to recognize fullness in small doses. You are strengthening your spiritual muscle. In the afternoon, during a quiet moment, connect with melody that uplifts your spirit. As you listen, allow your body to move. It doesn't have to be a complex dance. It can be a gentle swaying, tapping your fingers to beat, or simply bowing your head. Peace is not static. It is energy in motion. By moving while giving thanks, you are physically expressing the freedom your spirit is already beginning to feel. As night falls, before closing your eyes, make a list of 3 things that could have gone wrong today, but didn't. Don't just focus on what went right, but also on what was avoided. You didn't encounter a setback. You didn't lose your composure in the face of provocation. You didn't receive that bad news you feared. Recognize that God's silent protection is one of his greatest blessings. Often, his greatest work is the chaos he prevents. That's the end of your second day. The third day is for activating the grace of first results. And this is where your faith becomes radical. The first thing you will do in the morning is give something of yourself. It doesn't matter how big it is, but rather the intention. It could be a small act of kindness, 10 minutes of your time to listen to someone, or a genuine word of encouragement to a stranger. Do it before breakfast, before you start your day. As you do this, declare to yourself, "I activate the principle of first things first today. I give before I receive, and I sow before I reap. I trust that what I release in faith will return multiplied in purpose." It's not about the amount. It's about your stance. You are demonstrating through your actions that you trust the provision is already yours. You don't give to get something in return. You give to activate the flow of abundance in your life. There's a profound difference between the two. This afternoon, make that decision you've been putting off. Do it from a place of faith, not fear. Perhaps it's signing up for that course, sending that important message, or taking the first step toward that project you're passionate about. Don't wait until you feel ready. Make the decision knowing you already have the necessary support. That's putting faith first. Finally, before going to sleep, place your hand over your heart. Feel its steady rhythm and say with conviction, "My faith expands today to match the magnitude of the promises I have received. I no longer walk in the scarcity of doubt, but in the fullness of my spiritual inheritance." You are about to complete the activation cycle. What you have sown in these 3 days will begin to bear fruit you can't even imagine. Generosity is the key that unlocks the treasures of heaven. I want you to be a light for someone else today. Go to the comments and write a word of encouragement for the person who commented before you. By blessing others, you immediately activate your own blessing. I receive everything, not just a part, not just what's left over. I receive the fullness. Let that certainty settle within you before you rest today. We have completed the 3-day journey. Now, let me show you that this isn't just theory. It's a reality that has already transformed lives. I want to tell you about someone we'll call Sarah. Her story is proof of why I felt such an urgency to share this with you today. 6 months ago, Sarah was a single mother working 2 jobs just to make ends meet. She'd been stuck in the same position for 3 years, feeling invisible and financially on the brink. She was one step away from losing her stability when she came across a guide like this. She was skeptical. She almost didn't activate it because her mind told her it was pointless. But a spark inside her asked, "What do you have to lose?" On the first day, she stood in her kitchen at dawn, and although her hands trembled and she felt strange, she recited the authorization of passage decree. That same day, in the mid-afternoon, she received a call from Human Resources for an interview for a position she had already given up on. On the second day, she activated the frequency of abundance. That forced smile from the morning felt fake at first, but by evening, her own son looked at her and said, "Mom, you look different, happier. What changed?" Peace flowed from her pores without her even trying. On the third day, she made a radical act of faith. She shared a small resource with someone who needed it more than she did, even though her own finances were tight. 6 hours later, she received an unexpected refund 9 times what she had given. By the second week, Sarah already had a job offer with a significant salary increase. But The most impactful thing happened on the 21st. It wasn't something external. It was a complete internal shift. Sarah looked in the mirror and didn't recognize her own energy. She stood differently, spoke with a different authority. She was no longer someone begging for an opportunity. She was someone walking toward her purpose. By day 40, her life had been restructured. She had a new job, savings for the first time in years, and restored family harmony. Her life didn't become perfect. Her car still needed repairs, and the daily challenges were still there, but she had become unstoppable. And that's the key. Activation doesn't eliminate life's challenges. It empowers you to overcome them. This follows a very old pattern. There's a story about a people standing before a mighty river, waiting for the waters to part so they could cross. They expected the miracle to happen first, and then they would walk. But the instruction was different. Those who bear the faith must put their feet in the water before the river parts. People were waiting for the sky to move, but the sky was waiting for them to move. The instant their feet touched the water, the river parted. Do you see? Activation requires you to take that first step of faith. Even when the water seems deep, you've already dipped your toes in the water by getting this far. The three gifts of the first ones, authorization, fulfillment, and faith, are already in your hands. Now walk on. Don't let doubt or the first small victory stop you. Cross your river, because what awaits you on the other side is a life you were designed to live. Real change comes after action, not before. This 3-day process I've shared with you is your moment to take the plunge. Don't wait to feel different to start acting. Act differently, and the feeling of victory will follow. Don't wait for the door to open before walking toward it. Walk with faith, and you'll see the locks give way with every step you take. You stand before your own destiny. Protocol is a step. Tools are the key, but you are the one who must move forward. Today is a pivotal day. Ancient wisdom speaks of the opportunity, that moment when heaven and earth aligned to open a window that was once sealed. You are in that moment now. It doesn't matter if your external circumstances still seem chaotic. What matters is that your inner capacity has expanded. Heaven wasn't waiting for your life to be perfect to bless you. It was waiting for your spirit to be large enough to hold what is to come. And today, your spiritual vessel has reached its fullness. Keep this in mind. These windows of opportunity don't stay open forever. You have a window of opportunity right now, within the next 72 hours. If you activate your faith today, you connect with the flow of abundance. If you postpone it, the opportunity will still be there, but the momentum will have diminished. You don't need any more preparation. You're already ready. The only question is, will you dare move? The version of you who settled for little, who apologized for taking up space, and who waited for others' permission, is coming to an end. It's not a violent goodbye. It's a natural transformation, like a butterfly leaving its chrysalis. Surrender to the process. It's normal to feel nostalgic for who you were, but today you are stronger. The new you doesn't need to shrink to make others feel comfortable. The new you takes your place with dignity and walks with the confidence of someone who knows they belong where they stand. Before sealing this encounter, your soul needs to receive something it has longed for years. Permission. Listen carefully. You have permission to rest without feeling guilty. You have permission to desire a better life without feeling its selfish ambition. You have permission to be excited about your future instead of anxiously anticipating it. You have permission to celebrate your victories without fear that something bad will happen afterward. I release you today from a need to prove your worth to others and from the idea that you must suffer to be spiritual. You are free from unnecessary waiting. You are authorized to shine. What we do in these final minutes will seal your new reality. Stay present. This is not just a reflection. It is a commission of power. Right now, the atmosphere around you is changing. The heavens are active, and your name is present in the design above. We give thanks for every step of your journey, for the sleepless nights, for the moments of doubt, and for the persistence that brought you here. Your waiting time is over. Today we seal your authorization of passage, your frequency of abundance, and your faith of the first. I decree that the opportunities you thought lost return to you, that the favor that was delayed is now released, and that a supernatural peace floods your home. Any burden, any doubt, and any fatigue lose their hold on you. What has been decreed for your well-being, nothing can stop. In the next 72 hours, you will see the first sign. In 21 days, you will walk through an open door effortlessly. And in 40 days, when you look in a mirror, you will see a person whose light and confidence have been completely restored. Now, I ask you a question, and I need you to answer it firmly. Will you accept this legacy? Will you walk as someone who is at the forefront of their own life? Say out loud, yes. The universe has heard your affirmation. There is no turning back now. You are commissioned. You are authorized. You leave the waiting room today and enter your harvest season. Remain silent for a few seconds. Let this truth be sealed into every fiber of your being. You have completed this spiritual map. The change has already begun within you, and nothing can stop it if you choose to remain on this frequency. Go with confidence, act with faith, and remember that you are first in line for your own blessing. It is done. Walk with power.